So welcome everyone. Welcome to Rotarians to Rotary Club Central, creating a more dynamic and effective club. So I know this session was titled as how to enter your goals into Rotary Club Central, and we are certainly going to do that, but there's a lot more to Rotary Club Central that help clubs, and so that's what we're going to talk today. I'm Gayle Knepper. I'm from the E-Club of District 5010, and as you know, Rosie Rappel, our district's Lieutenant Governor, is also here with us today. And so before we get underway on the content, we're just going to do a little refresher on the session and also on Zoom. I know that some of you have probably spent an awful lot of time on Zoom for the last few weeks, but some of us are still just getting acquainted with Zoom. So we're just going to have just a few things first. So on your Zoom screen, you will have in the lower left-hand corner in your panel, your control panel. Usually that's on the lower part of your screen based on your computer. It could also be on the top of your screen. You will have the mute and unmute button. We do ask that you be muted during the session so that we can eliminate any background noise that might be happening. And also, we just talked about the video, and that's also in your control panel. And during the session at any time, please use the chat feature in the middle to send us questions, and Rosie will be monitoring those and we'll make sure that we can get those in and discuss them. In your control panel, you will see, this is usually at the top of your screen, how you can view the videos of those who are showing their video. And that is the little squares. It says gallery view, which means you can see everyone. Speaker view means that you just see the person that's speaking. And of course, the little frame means open to full screen or to shrink it back so that you can see your own computer controls. So also from time to time, the control panel will disappear just so that you can see the screen. And if it disappears, just touch the green meeting ID, which is always present, and your control panel will open back up again. And as Rosie mentions, we are recording this meeting and it will be available on the district website. So just a couple other things is if you haven't yet done so, we would ask that you mute your cell phone and anything else that might be notifying you during the meeting. If you need to close your door to, we know that sometimes our dogs love to run through and bark at whatever is happening in our room. And so that will again help us to really keep the session sound as audible as possible for everyone. So let's get started. So we're going to discuss today Rotary Club Central. Just give you an overview. I know that many of you are quite experienced with Rotary Club Central. We may also have some members online when this is really the first exploration they've had of Rotary Club Central. So we're going to talk about how it supports you as a leader and how it supports your club, how we use it to achieve the citation. Then we're going to go through some step-by-step of the lay of the land so that when you're in Rotary Club Central, you know what exists and how it works, and then the next action steps. When we talk about Rotary Club Central at clubs, these are the most frequent questions that we get. What is it, first of all? Why does it exist, and why are we using it? So we're going to answer those first and then get into the hands-on, how do we actually use it? So we have a poll question we would like to have you participate in.
Ooh.
Let me launch this poll. You should be seeing a poll on your screen. If you can vote, please, in the next 10 seconds or so, let us know how you're doing at your club. What percentage of your club's goals have been entered into Club Central for the new upcoming Rotary year? Okay, we've got responses coming in. Any answer is fine. We're just kind of seeing where everybody's at. Okay, I'm going to close the poll in about 3 seconds if you've not yet voted and would like to do so. Okay, I'm going to close the poll and let's look at what everybody said. Okay, so we've got some clubs that have already done their work, so they are ahead. They are ready to go for next year. We've got a couple clubs who are just beginning to work on it, and some clubs who are have that ahead of them, and we still have some time because the target date is May 31st, and so we've got some time on that yet. Thank you. Okay, so Rotary Club Central is essentially a planning and a measurement tool. And we know that if it's planning and measurement, that also helps us to manage and to guide our club. The real benefits is we have benefits to ourselves as club leaders. There's benefits to Rotarians, and also what often we don't think about is the data we collect is also beneficial to Rotary and to Rotarians worldwide. It's a leadership tool, helps us to build a more effective club, to illustrate the impact of Rotary, and I think really important for all of us, it makes our job easier. We know that we've got a number of incoming club presidents online, and perhaps and also some existing club presidents. And the responsibility, of course, is your primary responsibility: lead an effective Rotary Club, and let's figure out how we can use Rotary Club Central to do that. None of these responsibilities of a club president are surprising to you. They are all things that you already know about. Expectations, building strong membership, involving Rotarians, discussing achievements and goals, and ensuring continuity in a strong club. Now, how does Rotary Club Central help us to do that? So it helps us by giving us a way to plan, track, and follow up. We can motivate Rotarians, measure impact in the community, which is great for public image and finding partners. We can access and utilize club history, which all comes down to increasing the strength and the effectiveness of our Rotary Club. It also helps clubs achieve the citation. So at this point, we sometimes get the question, what is the citation? Particularly from some of our newer members. The citation is an award given by the president of Rotary International to recognize clubs for achieving goals that strengthen Rotary and their club. That includes goals in membership, developing sustainable service projects, contributing to the Rotary Foundation, and building awareness of Rotary in the community. It used to be called the Presidential Citation, and a number of you will remember that. And the reason it was called the Presidential Citation is because it was given by the President of Rotary. So you still may hear it referred to as the Presidential Citation, but now it's just been simplified to the citation. We're going to talk more a little bit later on in this session about how to use Rotary Club Central for that purpose. The reason Rotary Club Central was first created was so that clubs could look at what they've done and to build on that progress. No repeating of work, which I think it's a good one for all of us, and to create stronger outcomes. It supports planning and tracking in 5 different areas: membership and engagement, foundation giving, service, young leaders, and public image. We're going to take just a couple minutes and look at why was it created and why does it exist? And the first is through continuity to build stronger clubs. For those of you who have been in Rotary for a while, think back to when you might have wanted to do a project in your club that was done several years previously, and you wanted to just duplicate that project and move forward. if we think about where the information for that project was stored, it was usually in someone's spare room, in their garage, or had just disappeared. So we needed to start over. So that was not an effective use of our time when we are looking to build stronger clubs. Now with Rotary Club Central, a lot of the detail that we've used from one year to the next can be utilized and just to expand our work and moving forward. The second reason is it's a leadership and management tool to make our jobs easier as club leaders. We spend a lot of time chasing information. We used to do planning on a series of paper documents, one document for membership, one document for the Rotary Foundation, another document for service projects. This keeps it all in one place and we know where it is so we can go back and reference it anytime. And also our members can also access and look to see online what our club is doing. So we have another poll question. You should be seeing it now. And you don't have to agonize over the answer to this question, just your estimate. What is the total value, monetary and in kind, of the service performed by your club so far this year? Okay, we've got votes coming in. Just a few more seconds if you'd like to vote. Okay. Great, we've got a lot of different responses. Let's take a look and see what we said. So we see that we have different sizes of clubs. So the amount that our clubs are able to contribute are variable based on the size of the club and the number of members. Some clubs don't track it and some don't have an idea, and that is certainly what happened to most Rotary clubs in the world. And now we actually have a tool to do that. And that was another reason, an important reason, why Rotary Club Central was created, so that we know our impact in the world. Rotary International, before Rotary Club Central was created, they found that the world was moving to solve many of the most pressing problems with public-private partnerships. And Rotary, with its 1.2 million committed members around the world, should have been at the table talking in those settings to help to bring a solution to some of these issues. But often it was not recognized what Rotary actually was doing. And so one of the reasons that Rotary Club Central was created was to track the impact of the projects, not only in each of our own individual clubs, but over the 35,000 clubs in the world, that if we could measure not only the hard dollars, but the in-kind contributions and the volunteer hours, that certainly Rotary would be one of the highest impact volunteer organizations in the world, and that we would have an opportunity to help solve more of those problems. And the same is true in each of our own communities, as we have the impact of our own club that we can use for with our community and public image, and also with our partnerships. And that is reason number 3. Rotary Club Central, with the information we enter, illustrates the impact of Rotary. So now let's turn to the basics about how to use Club Central. Who can access, who can enter, and who is responsible? First, just who can access. Any Rotarian logging on to My Rotary at rotary.org can view the club's data and can view the district data in an aggregate form. So it's just combined. They can't see the statistics of individual clubs. They can see your own club and see the district data overall. Club officers, as reported to RI, and we'll talk about that in a moment, can view their own club data in detail. They can edit that club data, and again, they can view the district data in aggregate. And those officers that are able to enter data into Club Central are the president, the secretary, executive secretary, treasurer, foundation chair, membership, and the incoming president for his or her own year. This is the last poll question. So let's see how we do on this one. Who is responsible for entering data into Rotary Club Central in your club during this current year? President, secretary, treasurer, foundation chair, membership chair, executive secretary, or someone else? Okay, we have responses coming in. So far, presidents are in the lead. Secretaries are close behind.
Gayle, what
Yes?
if we don't have any idea who's responsible?
Well, then it's either A, another member, or B, we will cover that when we come to a later part. So that's a very good question. So is your data being updated now?
I have no idea. I've never been to this place on the internet.
Okay, well, we will figure that out then as we go along. Thank you for bringing that up. And so it looks like in most clubs, presidents are carrying the weight, and secretaries closely follow. In those clubs who have the ability to have an executive secretary, they are also helping. And I see I'm looking because we have a chat. Okay, I don't know if it's being done. So we are gonna figure out how you can check. So there are options on entering the goals and progress. Now we know that when we say who is responsible, we know that the club president, is ultimately responsible for everything, right? But we know that maybe day to day, they are not having the primary responsibility for entering into Club Central. And so that's a decision of each club. And clubs do it in different ways. The president is responsible. In some other clubs, they may have the officer or chair do it for their own area of responsibility. For example, the membership chair takes care of the whole membership section. The foundation chair takes care of the foundation section. Or there may be a designated Rotarian, if they have an executive secretary or if they have an administrative chair, that person may be responsible for entering in the data. So we will talk more about that a little later on as we talk about steps for your own club, but there are some options on how you might do that. So now we're going to talk about exactly how does it work and give you a picture of how it works so that when you go, if you've not yet been in the site, when you go to explore, you'll know how it's set up and what you can look for. And your AGs, your assistant governors, are ready to help you at any time with actually navigating the site. In other words, this is ideal because they can log on at the same time you log on via Zoom or a similar screen sharing program, and they can actually help as you walk through. So first we're going to talk about where to even find it. So it's on the Rotary.org website, and you go to My Rotary and log in. And so if you've not yet registered for an account on My Rotary, that is your first step. So you can register for an account. Rotary will confirm and send you an email when that's ready to go and set up. And then you can sign in. And the first thing that you are going to see is a page that includes My Club Snapshot. And as you see, this is my club, the E Club of District 5010. And at the bottom of that panel, it says View Club Goals. And that is actually Rotary Club Central. When clicking that, first thing you're going to see is the dashboard. And that's an overview of a snapshot of your club's progress, goals, more about your club. This is just one of the screens, and it's talking all about membership. And there's also other screens that talk about the foundation and so on. But that's the very first thing that you'll see. If we move on to the Goal Center, and the panel on the left of your screen now is the same panel is on the left-hand side of Rotary Club Central that gives us options based on what we want to do. So if we go to the Goal Center, because we're ready to enter our goals for the next year or to look at what we're doing for this year, you'll see that there are years entered. So there's about 5 years of history right now in Rotary Club Central. It will track 10 years. The tool has only been available for 5 years, so that's all the data that we have inside, but it will continue to build. So right now, for this club, my club, we are just looking at the current year. So now we've moved over to, we are going to enter. And as you see at the top of the screen, I've changed the date. We're now on 2020 to 21 year. And we want to enter something about our goals on members and engagement. So we have all the tabs of where we can enter goals. And once we click edit, that will give us the opportunity in certain categories to enter our goals. When we do that, it will open up a goal section, and it will allow us to enter in how many, on this particular one, how many members do we want to have by the end of next year. And what it also shows us, it shows us the history. How has our club done both on our membership goals and achieving those goals? There are several areas in Rotary Club Central where it pre-populates information for us because Rotary has it in their database. Membership is one, the Rotary Foundation is another, and also Youth Exchange because Rotary has that information. So they will automatically populate our achievements, and we just have to enter our own goals. In addition to how many members do we want to have, there are other indicators, other goal components under each of our sections. And these are really under membership, they're engagement goals. And so there's a list of other items that are really essential for membership engagement. And they are all shown that we can enter and edit. Now, because this particular screen that you're seeing is the current year again, you can see that what the achievements have already been for this year and the green check mark of those that have already been achieved for the current year. And once you can also edit the goals mid-year, should you want to do that. In the case of the E-Club, the goal was 18 members. The club now has 23 members. Sometimes a club will want to say halfway through the year, we're ahead of track, we want to up our goal a little bit. And so you may choose to edit the goal. And again, it opens up the panel that you can enter a new goal. And it looks like we've got a question coming in. You're not seeing edit on your screen. John, it depends on how you are set up in as an officer for your club. So that may be the reason why, and we're going to cover that in a little while. So hang on to that question and let's see if we can answer it as we come up to it. Thanks for the question. So updating progress during the year, again, you can go into edit. And in this case, if we want to edit something under engagement for club membership, We can edit our progress during the year. And then it will give us a new progress report. How are we doing? Every one of the sections has its own goal components. This is a partial list for the Rotary Foundation, for young leaders, and for public image. Now we also have service projects, and because they're done just a little differently, I wanted to spend a few moments extra on that. Tracking the service projects really gives us that information about not only what are we doing, but what is the real impact of our Rotary Club. It also tracks what we've done in past years so that we can take a look at our progress. We're actually going to be entering more information in about our service projects than in other areas because it's important for tracking, and also we have an opportunity for more public image to gain more partners. So we're actually going to enter in information about our project, and there's several options on that. If we want to enter a new service project that we've never had before, there's an opportunity to do that here. We can repeat a past service project. Many of our clubs have continuing service projects because they're signature projects for the club, for example. So you can see I have changed clubs now. I'm in the Rotary Club of Ketchikan First City, and they have 3 current projects that they have entered into the system. They have an international project, they have the dictionary project, and also youth exchange. So by clicking on repeat past projects, they can just pull that right into the goals for the upcoming year. There's also one more option, and that is import from Rotary Showcase. Some of you I know are already using Rotary Showcase. Some of you might not be familiar with it. What Rotary Showcase is, it's an opportunity to publicize our club's projects online, not only to Rotarians in every other part of the world, but also publicly, because the site where we post these projects are a public site and it's connected to social media. So once we enter our project, we can just click a button and send it out on Facebook. So if there are real benefits to adding your project into into Showcase, and then bringing it back into Rotary Club Central, because you will have an opportunity right by using Showcase to get much more publicity for your project. And it's the same entry. So I would suggest that you may want to consider entering it in Showcase and bringing it back into Central for that reason. So let's look at Showcase for a moment. So there are projects listed all over the world in different areas that we can search about what's happening. Now, I just happened to look when I was putting together this presentation, what are clubs doing for the virus? And many, many projects came up around the world for special projects that clubs are doing. So that is just very current information. And any project that we put here will appear under club name, under region, under type of project. If we have entered a project into Showcase and click the Import Showcase project, we can see in the case of Ketchikan First City, they have a project in Showcase. It's called Music Moves. And they have actually pre-entered because they're going to do this in 2020. And so they can import that directly into Rotary Club Central and populate that information. The types of information that's required about our project, the standard things that we know about, what's the project all about, where's it happening, and more details about volunteers who are our partners. We can add photos. This is actually the last screen. There's a couple in between, but this actually brings us to, after we have entered, what were our total volunteer hours, how many volunteers did we involve, and what are our actual contributions? And that then rolls up into our total impact of our project. And then we can see the impact for all of our club-wide for all of our projects. And the numbers start to grow substantially. So just for Ketchikan First City, this is just what they have entered so far for this year. So I know that they are not yet finished, and so they have more to enter. But this gives them an easy way to track what is the impact of our club and what have our contributions been. We can also look at it from the district-wide basis, which is it shows us district-wide what are our clubs doing for funding projects, how many volunteers. Also happens to show us on this screen about district-wide, our annual fund. Now we know that because this year is not over yet, and not everyone has entered progress reports in Rotary Club Central, the red lines, which is actual, are going to grow substantially between now and June 30th. That brings us to the citation. How do we use Rotary Club Central for the citation? So for those of you, again, who have been involved for a while in Rotary and serving on the board, will remember that most years we've had a paper brochure of the citation, and we chose, they gave us some goal suggestions, and we chose a number of them in different categories. It is now it's much easier now. So and this is a new way of doing it this year, and it's really coordinates well with the direction that we are taking our club. There are 25 goals available in Rotary Club Central, all things to make our club strong and more effective in all the different areas of Rotary. So what our job is this year in advance for the citation is, while we're filling out our goals on Rotary Club Central, select 13 or more, anything over 50%, and we challenge you to do more than 50%. Choose 13 that are most important to us that we want to designate as the citation goals for 2020 and 2021. And as we go through the year and update progress, as we achieve those, that will automatically qualify us for the citation just by reporting our achievement in Rotary Club Central. So that's all there is to it. No separate forms, nothing to submit, no reports to write. So, and it coordinates right with our club goals. Back to Rotary Club Central, there is a tab that shows Rotary Citation, and that will bring forward all of the goals that we have chosen for the citation. And as we achieve those and enter our progress during the year, it will show how many we've achieved and what more we need to do between now and the end of the year. There's a number of other tools on Rotary Club Central that I just want to let you know that are there. It's a whole long page of resources. And these generally are connected to the categories that we have entered our own goals in Club Central. Young leaders, as you see, membership, general, there'll be foundation resources on another page. So that's available for us as a quick reference. There's also reports. Again, in membership and engagement, Rotary Foundation and service, everything from individual club reports to district reports and also RI reports, should you wish to look at those. Also available to us, we mentioned the district snapshot a few minutes ago. There's also area snapshot. It's called a group snapshot. And what that is, it shows all the clubs in your assistant governor group who are with you, whether it's the northern region, south central region, southeast region. And it's useful if you want to see how everybody else in your group is doing and how our club compares to that. And often our members will be very interested also in just learning more about how the district operates, how the club operates, and they can also view all of these different types of reports. Now, you won't see these unless you happen to be the governor or assistant governor, but I wanted to let you know that it's there, is when the governor and AGs came to visit your club in the past, there was an approximately 15-page hard copy written report that had to be completed. Some of you may remember seeing that. Now that is all incorporated online, and it makes it very easy for them. And this is really just to help clubs to be able to develop and recognize clubs for their achievements. So when they visit your club, everything is incorporated online so that we can track over the years how your club is developing, how its membership is developing. And so again, streamlining our operations and making us more effective. So now we're to the part about, well, like what's next? We've looked at why we have Rotary Club Central, a little bit about what's included and how to use it. So to really take action for club, there's really two things that we need to know. And that is, of course, knowing how to use it. And we just did a little bit of that. And your assistant governor, again, is ready to help you. And having something to enter, which is a really important thing. And now is a really good time to hold a planning session with your board and committee chairs on what exactly are our goals going to be that we want to enter into Rotary Club Central. As we mentioned earlier on, May 31st, that is our target date for goal entry completion for the next Rotary year. So steps would be to get to that easily, schedule a planning meeting to set those goals, and the officers, several steps on that. We all know that officers need to be reported to Rotary. It's actually no later than March. Reminders did come out from Rotary, so some of you may have seen those, and that's your officers for next year. Without the officers being reported to Rotary, they will not be able to access Rotary Club Central to do editing. And so that may be related to the editing question we had earlier. They can see the data and the reports, but they cannot edit. The next step is for your officers to establish my Rotary Access if they've not yet done so. And next important step is to verify contact information on Rotary.org. Sometimes there's old data there, like old email address and so on, and they're trying to access all the functionality of Rotary.org, and they're not able to do so because it has an email address that they stopped using a year ago. So with all of those things complete, then they will be, if they're on the list of people who can access Club Central, they are ready to go. And then you will be ready to enter club goals. One of the discussions you might have in your club is who will be the Rotary Club Central champion. And that is the person who is really collecting information, entering information, reporting information back to the board, and just kind of taking charge of that. Let's look for a moment about registering officers with Rotary International. Again, we're on the My Rotary site, and we are under the member section, and there's a link called Club and District Administration, and that's where we want to go. That will take us to Manage My Club and to Update Member Data, and that's where we can add, edit, or remove club officers, and that is the same place where we can add, edit, or remove members. Now, a question came up the other day. Why wouldn't we just enter the officers on Club Runner? One can. My recommendation is it's faster and more effective to do it at Rotary.org. And the reason why is oftentimes the way names are entered into Club Runner are not the same as they are entered into Rotary.org. And Rotary International holds the official membership information. So for example, a member may have a middle initial listed on Rotary.org with no middle initial on your club site. And we can imagine what happens is the computer thinks it's two different members and will create a dilemma as far as them having full access. So for that reason, it's good to do it on Rotary.org. Here's what you see by registering club officers. There's a standard list that you will get that you can enter your club members plus the executive secretary director. There's one more entry. And when you actually go to click to enter someone, it gives you a drop-down list of all your club members. So no mistakes possible with misspelling someone's name or adding a middle initial, because it is there exactly as Rotary has it in the database. And I see a question coming in. Does the current president make the change, or is this a submission to Rotary? Based on the club, each club might do it differently. Traditionally, the current club secretary is responsible for adding in, as soon as the election happens, for updating this, sending it into Rotary. But every club might do it a little differently, and as long as you know who it is for your club or have established that, that they can do so. So the officers will have access to upload, but generally, traditionally, the secretary has done it. There's also one more thing I wanted to let you know about. Let's say you establish a Rotary Club champion, a Rotary Club Central champion, and it is not one of those people on the list that normally would have access. You may or may not be aware that you can actually delegate your level of access to someone else. So let's say you're president and there's someone else in your club who is not on the board, but would just love to take over Rotary Club Central. In that case, you can delegate access to that person for a certain period of time. Let's say that they let you know at the end of every month, they're going to go in and do an update. You can delegate access for a period of time, a day, 2 days, whatever you think. And they can go in and enter all the updates. And then the next time you're ready, you can delegate access again, because only one of you can have the access at that level at a specific point in time. But this is really makes it so much easier so that you don't have to share your logins. Best practices for clubs. Set up a structure for how you're going to do it and discuss how it's going to happen at a board meeting. Also at board meetings throughout the year, talk about achievements. How are you doing towards your goals? And also regularly with your members at club meetings. So what do I do first? Check your access and make sure that you've got full access as you need to Rotary Club Central. And that includes being registered as an officer and those things that we just mentioned. Make the plan, who, how, and when. What are the expectations of others for your board, for example? Do you want them to, at every board meeting, to give an update on their goals? And then, of course, set the exact goals for next year so that you can enter them into Rotary Club Central. And there's a tool to help you do this as you're meeting with your board and committee chairs to decide what your goals are going to be. Sometimes it's easier just in a discussion session of that type to just have a worksheet and work on. And so we have a worksheet for you in the Rotary District 10 website. I'll show you that where it's at in a moment, where you can just actually do the planning and you can determine, is it a citation goal, and when you've achieved it, so that you know how to do updates. Here's where those resources are at. Again, on Rotary5010.org website, under Leadership and President Resources. There's a number of documents to be that can help you on Rotary Club Central. All the things that will help as you sit down to get ready to do this. That includes a complete guide, step-by-step guide on how to access and to use Rotary Club Central, and many other tools. Of course, we talked about your assistant governor. They're ready to help you. Rotary.org, there's a number of resources there. And also in the Rotary e-learning center, which is on the Rotary International website, there is actually a Club Central resources self-paced course that you can take should you want to do so. Now we are at the end of the presentation, and so we are going to open it up if there's any questions, comments, thoughts that you would like to have. And at this time, if you would like to, you are welcome to unmute yourself and just ask the question.
Shall I stop the recording?
Oh, yes. Thank you.